All right, so welcome to another rapid fire business story of the week. This is part of our rapid fire series, and today we have an incredible guest with us, someone who's achieved extraordinary success and is here to share their unique business journey with you. We're excited to hear their insights, so let's welcome them to the show. All right, so as this is our rapid fire series, we've got 1 minute or less to answer each question. So, in a minute or less, give us the elevator pitch to your story and your life. Go.
Wow, that's a loaded question, but thank you for having me on the show. And I have had a very successful career as an entrepreneur and a business owner, and I've bought and sold multiple successful businesses throughout my career. Most of my career I've spent in real estate. I've been a consistent top performer in the industry, and I'm at a point now after having all that success that I want to pay it forward and give back to my fellow peers. So I've started a successful coaching and training business, and that's what I am focusing on right now. And as a matter of fact, at this current moment, I'm very selective on how many clients I have, and I have 2 openings. If anybody should be interested after the show, I'd be glad to connect with you and discuss it.
So, that's fascinating, and I would love to dig a little bit deeper. So, tell us a bit more about what you're working on today that you're most passionate about and believe will have the biggest impact.
Yes, another great question. As I said, after having such a successful career, I've spent nearly 40 years in real estate. And overall, I'm probably 45 years as a successful entrepreneur. And like I said, nowadays, what I'm doing is I am helping others so they can have the fast track or faster track to success and avoid a lot of the pitfalls and mistakes that I made through my career, because back then we didn't have the internet so you could just look things up or reach out to people or listen to podcasts. You had to learn yourself or reach out to people, and me in particular, I was just too stubborn. I thought I could do it on my own. So it was a long journey, but I made it through very well, and I'm happy to help others do the same.
So this next question is one that every entrepreneur has dealt with. Tell us about a time where you failed. We often say failure is the first step to success. So think about a time where you failed in the past. What happened? What did you learn from it?
I've had a few, as I'm sure a lot of us have, if not all of us have had. Probably because I'm in real estate, 2008 was the biggest failure that I suffered. I was heavily invested in real estate. I owned 19 properties at the time, and I also had a very successful real estate appraisal business, and I was a broker selling real estate. So when the market crashed, all of that dried up, including the rents coming in, the rent roll, that income. And as it turns out, I had to give half my properties, let them go back to the bank. I was able to keep the other half, 10 of them actually, and that got me through it. But I'll tell you what, that really set me back, and it hurt in so many ways, not just professionally, but personally, because personal problems are business problems, and business problems are personal problems. You can't separate the two. And that's where I ran into a lot of trouble. I did eventually rebound. It took a number of years. I finally got myself back through a lot of hiring coaches and getting help from others who had similar failures or greater ones, and how did they do it? So I did hire coaches.
That's fascinating. And we're definitely going to have you back on the show to dive deeper into each of these questions. But for now, one thing that I often say is, and I tell this to my employees and the people who work with me and for me all the time, is that when a tree falls in the forest, if nobody hears it, did that tree actually fall? This brings me to this next question. How do you make sure that all of these amazing projects that you're involved in get noticed? What marketing and advertising methods have worked best for you? You've got a minute. Let's go.
Wow. It's been a learning curve indeed. There's no doubt about that. As I said, I invested in a lot of training. I went to Tony Robbins seminars. I've gone to other ones, National Achiever conferences. And every time I go to one, I do try to pick up at least a few nuggets that I can take home and implement. And at that point, that's probably where things turn for me. And it's just I hired coaches, and we got that established, and I put myself on a learning curve. After 35 years in the business, here I am a student again. But I'll tell you what, it's what you do, you invest in yourself. And that return on investment has been more than I could have imagined. It's 10x easily. So I'm very happy with that and very successful with it. And like I say, I finally decided to start a coaching and training business so I could help others get through it. And that is taking off and doing fantastic. And I'm just in my second or third year now. So very, very happy with that. The last 5 years have really been turning the page for me.
That was so awesome. We're definitely going to dive deeper into this on a later show. And as we approach our last question, before we ask people how people can get a hold of you, how people can reach you, learn more about the work that you're doing in your company, and we will include all that information in the show notes, what I wanted to ask you is, what is one piece of advice that you would offer to your younger self, to our audience, and to somebody, especially somebody who's just starting out in the same niche that you're in, but just doesn't know how to start or get going? Amazing stuff. We're going to have to thank our guest today.
Hire coaches. That was one thing I resisted through my career, and I had to learn the hard way. I get a lot of kickback from people that saying, oh, I don't have the money or whatnot, and I will do it when I get the money. That's equivalent to saying, I want to get in shape, but I won't go to the gym till I am in shape. Or, to use an expression I've often used, is putting the cart before the horse. So that's the primary thing, the difference I see in today's world versus when I was growing up. Make sure you have coaches that have been there, done that, can guide you. And again, why wait for the right opportunity? You are the opportunity. And invest in yourself. That's the biggest thing.
Today for being a guest on Business Story of the Week. And before we cut out on this episode, I wanted to ask you, how can people get a hold of you? How can people learn more about what you're doing? And how do people engage with you? And we will transcribe this and put it in the show notes for everybody to find.
Wonderful. The best way to get a hold of me and to book a discovery call with me is go to www.crackmycode.com/Joe. What that'll do is bring you to a site that's a tool I use that you do a very short exercise. It'll only take you a minute. And then once you put your information in and complete that, it'll take you to my booking calendar. And we'll get on a call and we'll just have a chat and see if we get along, basically.
All right, amazing. So you did it. Thank you for being a guest on the show today. Let me tell you what you can expect next. So what we're going to do is we're going to take all this, we're going to cut it into an episode. It will go on the Business Story of the Week page. So make sure you go on Apple Podcasts, review us, like us, go on YouTube, subscribe to the channel, subscribe to us on Spotify. And this will come out in the next 30 days or so, depending on our workload and how many shows we have. We have had a lot of interest in the show lately, so we may be a little backed up, but the show will get out. In the meanwhile, we will send you clips that feel free to share on social. Also, the full episode, feel free to share any way that you like. The content is yours to share and put out there. We just ask that you Mark us and tag us in the notes if you do. So in the copy, put hashtag business story of the week, link back to us. We would appreciate that. And if you think that you might be interested in doing more podcasts, live ones and studio ones, Zoom ones, Riverside ones, there's a whole host of shows that likely if you did this one and succeeded, you would probably be really great at, and a great way of getting your message out. So your host will talk to you about potentially getting you booked on a strategy call for a business story of the week's sister company, Podcast Cola, or becoming a YouTube influencer through Viral Mirage. Thanks again for being a part of this. Looking forward to working with you.